far down the road with what we proposed to the state for the first phase, what we're now calling the first phase. If we have to do it that way, I'm fine with it. I would have preferred to do it the other way. But I would rather start with the downtown development and work from the Adams Street Lafayette intersection back towards campus. I think we've acquired the land up in that first block to do a good job. I mean, in my mind, we don't have enough right-of-way going west from there to do a good job without restricting traffic, getting the types of sidewalks we want to carry pedestrians, to carry bicycles, and everything that we're trying to accomplish in getting people to the downtown area.
Ed?
I served on that committee when it started. Me and Alderman Dorsett was on there, and we had this thing broke up into different phases, and to be honest with you, it's going to take many, many years for the whole thing to be complete. But I do believe the portion at Lafayette needs to be done, because that's a first impression, and I think somebody else had said that earlier. Not so much really for the kids for first impression, it's the parents. They're the ones that are paying the money for their students to come down here. And you have to, first impression is worth quite a bit. As far, things may have changed since I've been gone from the council for the past 2 years. I don't know if they've modified anything as far as going down as far as Charles. I agree with Dennis. We are limited there. We're probably going to have to buy some property, but we do want to be able to make the sidewalks big enough. It's supposed to be a college town is what it's supposed to be, eventually with stores and stuff in there. But there is a lot of work that has to be done, but I agree that we continue to go forward with this.
David?
I think Adams Street should be a top priority. I think that's where we should definitely be starting, seeing as I believe it's the second highest entrance to the university. So with what Ed was saying, with it being a first impression, I think that's absolutely right.
The courthouse square was mentioned in the course of that last round there. And in a couple of years, the city will be working on the streets around the square. At that time, it might also give the square a bit of a facelift. I'm wondering what the candidates would like to see done to the square. What's your vision for the square? What changes would you like to see to the look of the square? Steve?
Yeah, one thing that I really like about the square now are the brick insets that divide the inner part of the square from the outer part of the square. I think that they need to be relayed, the bricks need to be relayed, put new bricks in there, but also add more green space in there, add some trees or some shrubbery. And then businesses, I feel that, you know, we are in hard times, but businesses should take a risk and maybe revamp what the outside of their business looks like. I know some businesses do a great job with their signs and entrances, and that really does wonders to what the entire square looks like. So I think that, coupled with greenery and possibly the new brick inlays, would help the square look even better.
Anyone else have a vision for the square? Clay?
Yeah, I think if we were to have a phase 2 project, that would be my phase 2. Phase 1 would be the Adams Street corridor. And more than just redoing the streets, we need to reduce the sidewalks. We need some shrubbery. And after having gone to Rushville, Jacksonville, and Quincy, oh boy, they've done some very nice work there, and we can emulate that. And we have begun that process to develop that plan, and hopefully that the businesses and the building owners downtown are going to be involved in that process and what they want. Traffic patterns will probably be changed somewhat. And Sidewalks hopefully will be widened. Maybe a little less parking, but if we get some of the business owners not parking on the square, that would be a good thing too. So, but right now it's a blank easel. All right, it's a dream, it's a plan. It's got to come together. Thank you.
Dennis?
Yeah, I've advocated for downtown probably since I've been on the council, and I think it's time for us to do something. I've always said if we create the atmosphere down there that is attractive, then people will want to locate their businesses, and they will hopefully take care of their buildings, improve them, and we can create a destination type place. Like Clay said, everything's out there for possibilities. We're just starting the process. I'm sure you'll start seeing news releases and everything else about what we're talking about and where we're going with it. I might add that not with just this project, but all the projects, street projects we've been doing, we try to improve or upgrade the infrastructure under it before we improve the surface, so at a later date we don't have to tear it up. But I'm afraid the cost is going to be a lot higher than maybe we've anticipated, and we'll just have to see where we go from here.
Ed?
I agree a lot there with Dennis. Aesthetically, we could do just about anything we want downtown, more shrubs. Everybody's going to have different ideas. But the one concern that I've had for years when I was on the council and when I ran for mayor last time was stormwater on the square. There's been business people that are just going crazy that we cannot get rid of that water. And this goes back to what Dennis had said. I feel the same way. My background, I know about pipes. That's all there is to it. And we need to do that before we need to do anything with the roads. But Dennis is absolutely right. This cost liable to scare us when we find out, but we have to look at different options to be able to get rid of the stormwater and make sure that new gas lines, water lines, and sanitary is run before we do anything on top.
Kay?
Well, I would like to add to the conversation that I'm really excited about the opportunity that we may have to update the downtown area. I think it's vital to our community. I'm really looking forward to that. And one of the things that was said when I attended a IML conference was, do not let your downtown die. It's very vital to your community. And another philosophy is build it and they will come, which is kind of what they're saying. You know, make it more attractive, improve the infrastructure, and people will want to locate, and it could be a real draw to new businesses to create more revenue and more jobs.
Tim?
Downtowns have always been a vital part of a city's economy. During my time on the Downtown Development Corporation, we were held up as a shining example of a vibrant downtown. 35 years ago, folks came together with a vision to revitalize the downtown. They went through the streetscape design, they went through property acquisition, off-street parking, off-square parking. We've done this before. We can do it again. We have the bones there, but we shouldn't kid ourselves. We've been held out as an example over the years and in the past as how to do a downtown. To think that we're backwards now is selling the city short. We know what it takes. When we brought in the consultants that we were considering hiring, the most striking thing that I heard from each and every one of them as they came in on Jackson Street was, I thought I was entering a parking lot. And that is not what we want to have envisioned for Macomb when a visitor comes to our town. So we do need to have the landscaping. We do need to have a more open space, a more inviting space, a space that lets people know that the downtown is there at our major arteries. And we're moving forward with that with these consultants, and And I think we're going to be proud of what we come up with, but the funding is going to be scary.
David?
One, one thing I think some of us witnessed over the summer was the success of a hot dog cart down. It was originally in Chandler Park, and then it moved to the Courthouse Square. And every day there were long lines. People were very eager to go to it. So I think if we allowed for more space on the square, for more commerce and cart-like stores like that, I think it would help to add to the charm of our downtown and make everything a little bit more vibrant.
I'd like to ask the challengers, what have you done to prepare for the demands of being an alderman? And can you tell us how many city council meetings you've attended and what issues interest you? Steve?
I'll go first. On campus, I've really become a student leader, whether it's in student government, being a senator at large, in the executive cabinet, under the president of the Student Government Association, on the Provost Advisory Committee for SGA, or the Honors College Senator. I've really been able to hone my leadership skills, and SGA isn't the only example. I'm the president of Phi Eta Sigma Honorary Society, so I know what it takes to rally people around myself to accomplish a common goal, to lead. But I also know what it's like to sit back and listen to what other people have to say, contribute and help them accomplish their goals. And I've always been interested in politics. I've had multiple internships, whether it be for a campaign or in a congressional office. I've done just about all of it. And I really just want to help give back to the students in the city, and I thought that, as a city council member, I'd be able to do that.
David?
Well, I've been interested in local issues for the past 2 years. I went to one of these forums where I learned a lot. I've spent a lot of time just on the internet researching ways that local municipalities can make an impact on their community. I've been involved here at the high school with student council and extracurriculars, and I think if I were to be elected to the city council, I would just be open to the members of the community, specifically business owners. I think they have the most to contribute to how we can really grow our downtown and make Macomb a better place to live.
Ed?
Well, I've already served 4 years on the council. I come from a family, my dad served on the city council in Peoria for several years, so I've been around politics for my whole life. But I enjoyed the first 4 years I was there. My term come up, the mayor's position come open, and I decided to run against Mike. We had two different visions on what was going to happen, and I lost the election. And that's fine. I moved on. But I still like politics, and I want to get back into it. And I've been attending majority of the council meetings since after the first of the year, just to try and get back into the swing of what's going on, looking at the agendas and things like that. So that's what I've been doing, and that's why I want to get elected, not reelected.
I'd like to ask the incumbents, can you tell us specifically what you have done to deserve to remain on the city council?
Well, I'll go first.
Okay, Kay.
Well, it is a learning experience, for sure, and I have learned a lot about the procedures, the different departments, the budget. I mean, there is a lot to absorb. And I feel like with that experience behind me and my other administrative experience, that I could bring more to the council in a continuing position.
Tim?
Well, again, I've been on the council for 12 years. I am currently the longest tenured council member and had the honor of being elected by my peers as mayor pro tem in the mayor's absence. Over the years, I've been intimately involved with many aspects of our budget, our negotiations, our personnel policies. The list goes on. Public Works, our sales tax infrastructure proposal to the constituents, sunsetting it, letting us have a 5-year opportunity to show that we could be trusted with the money, that we weren't going to pull any shenanigans. We proved that. The voters were good enough to entrust us with a permanent solution to the sales tax infrastructure money, and again, doubled it in a subsequent election. I pride myself on speaking out, asking questions, trying to be logical about our approach, understanding that we're not going to make everybody happy. That's not possible. But doing, in the end, what is best for the most people and serving the citizens of Macomb. I really enjoy it.
Clay?
It was a big transition for a soldier to become and I hesitate to use the word politician. I prefer elected representative. There's a difference. Politicians generally have one focus: get reelected. Elected representatives have one focus: do the job. The reason I got involved in council, or ran for the council, was I had an issue with the city. I addressed the council 3 times and got no recourse. Somebody told me, I agree with everything you said, but we're not going to do a thing. I thought, how arrogant. So I decided to try to change that from within. I never ask anybody as a leader to trust me. I understand that the best leader is that person who says, we did it together. Okay? I listen very well, and I have a simple philosophy: do the right thing, do the most good, the right thing for the most good at the least cost, for the most benefit. So it's that simple.
Dennis?
Well, in the last 9 years, I've had the opportunity to basically interview and sit